back to Once Upon a Van Life. This time around, we're here to tell you about our adventures through California. So here's the first half of our California trip. So our first adventure in California was to Redwood National Park. We knew we wanted to go to Redwood. We'd heard about the amazing trees, and we had the opportunity to see some of them when we were in British Columbia. But this is like the best. So in we went, and we booked a campsite at Gold Bluffs Campground, which was an adventure in itself.
Yeah,
it was beautiful. It was right on these endless beaches that were so private, but they were so private because you had to drive about 12 kilometers down this crazy, windy, bumpy road that at some points was barely wide enough for the van, eh, Josh?
Yeah, and the trees were like right next to the road. Like I have a little like fast motion video I'll put at the end of this so you can see, but it was crazy for us in this giant van driving through these roads, but it was very cool.
It was so crazy. We had intentions of doing a lot more hiking, and by the time we got to the campground, like it was that big of an adventure. We looked at each other and went, no, we're just staying here for 3 days.
Yeah, and we've been going for a while, so we were like, you know what, we kind of need to just hang out for
But the best part was, like we said, literally 150 yards from our campground was the most pristine beaches you've ever seen, and you could walk them for miles.
This guy loved it.
Yeah,
it was like daily, like 9 o'clock, and then
beach walk. Beach walk.
And then 4 o'clock.
Beach walk.
And it was insane. Like we just did that every day. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. Highly recommend Gold Bluffs. It is very remote. There are elk and bear and all sorts of things, but funny enough, we had no cell phone reception from about halfway into Redwood Park, but when we got to the campground, we had pristine Wi-Fi. They had
it was amazing. Yeah. I actually had my baseball draft, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm just auto drafting. And nope, I got to draft like right on the beach, so it was pretty
showers,
awesome.
Bathrooms. It was a really cool campground, much different than we're used to, but A+ experience for sure. So we're just having a walk on the beach. We are at Redwood State Park, Gold Bluffs Beach Campground, and there is nothing but us. We've walked all the way down this beach. Our campground is way down there somewhere, and otherwise the beach is completely deserted. There's one other man walking. You can't drive or walk to anything here. We had to take a big, long, windy road and then another dirt road to get here. This is true seclusion. This is California.
All right, so from there we kept going down the coast, and we were going to go down the coast, I should say, but we decided to cut in onto Highway 101 and went through just beautiful mountain views, and I didn't really expect that to be there, but it was amazing. It was just the forest, the redwoods, all that, and we stopped in a little place called Willits, which is a cute little town, which introduced me to guacamole, which I now like guacamole. So
we had amazing tacos. This town couldn't have had more than 10,000 people. There was 7 taco shops, so we decided we must have lunch, and yeah, we got tacos, and they brought us complimentary chips with salsa and guacamole. And if anybody knows Josh personally, he does not do tomatoes, so salsa isn't his thing. So he thought, oh, whatever, I'll try this guacamole. He ate like the whole container of it, and to this day eats avocado and guacamole now.
So there you go. After that, we kept heading down because we decided we were going to go towards San Francisco, and we wanted to go to this winery for one of my favorite bands, the lead singer, Les Claypool from Primus. He has a winery, so we decided we were going to go there. And
so we went through wine country, which was beautiful.
Insane drive again, like just going through mountains. They got wineries on cliffs and like mountains, and insane. But so we went there, and it was called the Pachyderm Winery. So we went there, and Sam will tell you about that.
Yeah, we got there and we were just going to get a bottle of wine. Like, we just wanted to go, maybe get a sticker and a bottle of wine. And we showed up, and the very, very nice gentleman said, would we like a wine tasting? And Josh said, no, I'm driving. But, 3 wine samples later, we did have a little mini wine sampling, just a mouthful of each. But they were so nice, and they were so excited that we had come all the way from Canada. And they gave us stickers and pins, and we bought a bottle of wine. They let the dog come in, which was really, really cool too, even though there was a big no dog sign, which we thought was really funny.
And he was giving us like a little scoop about Primus, how they had some new songs coming out, and thought it was just really cool that we were from Canada and that we came all the way there.
Yeah, it felt like a very personal experience, which was really cool because we weren't expecting that. And then we bought a lovely bottle of wine.
Of course, he was the star too. Anybody else that was there was petting him, and that's Hendrix. And
tell them about the hot dog cart.
I was gonna say, and the other thing that was cool was they had this giant hot dog stand that was shaped like a hot dog. Unfortunately, it wasn't open, so we couldn't get one. But apparently, one of Claypool's favorite hot dogs, and he had it for St. Patrick's Day, was one with Lucky Charms on it.
On the hot dog.
So I was like, I probably would have tried it, but that sounds pretty gross. But yeah, so
it was really fun.
We ended up leaving there and going just outside of San Francisco to Sausalito, which was amazing. This little harbor town.
$10 to park for the night it cost us. It's actually free from 9 p.m. until 6 a.m. So we got there at about 6, so I only paid about $6, and then we got up early in the morning and put a few more bucks in so we could sleep in a little bit. But on this beautiful harbor, and if you want context, it's basically you're looking at Alcatraz.
Yeah,
so it's right before the Golden Gate Bridge,
and all these yachts, and like we looked it up. San Quentin, the prison that actually has it's very high security. Like there's people that are literally have been in jail for their whole life, like psychopaths. Was literally like 10 minutes away from us.
So here we are laying in the van, and Alcatraz is like 5 miles this way, and San Quentin's 5 miles this way, and I'm like, we are laying within the midst of like so many like well-known criminals. And for me, I love true crime, so it was actually just a really cool experience to be in the area. But Sausalito, great area if you're looking to go for a trip, like a fly-in trip. You're an hour from the wineries, you're right over the bridge from San Francisco and Alcatraz, so you could easily do like a really cool little trip there.
Beautiful
girls
views,
weekend or something.
Beautiful views, like the strip with like all these bars built into like this hill and everything. It was amazing.
And there was a float house community, and if anybody knows what that is, it's basically entire 2- and 3-story homes that float on giant foam docks, and people live on the water. We unfortunately don't have any photos because we couldn't get close enough. We just saw it on the way in, but very cool, like something I've never seen before. But yeah, Sausalito was a great little stop right before you go into San Francisco. After our evening in the marina in Sausalito, we got up the next morning and we went over the Golden Gate Bridge, which was really a bucket list item, mostly because of Full House. I'll totally admit, I just wanted to drive over it because I was such a fan of the show. But we went over the Golden Gate Bridge, which was an experience of its own. And there are some little parks like right at the bridge and look-offs that you can stop at. We didn't. We just drove straight over. They were all very busy. It was the weekend. We didn't consider that. But then we went into Golden Gate Park to have breakfast, and we parked beside just the cutest little pond. There was all these swans and ducks, and we did a walk around the pond and this stone bridge. It was fantastic. It was so cute. Definitely somewhere we would go back to. If we got lucky to find parking because we got there really early in the morning, because by the time we left, we couldn't even find parking anywhere else in the park to go check anywhere else out. But it was fantastic. So Golden Gate Bridge and Golden Gate Park are both really good stops along the way. And from there,
we just drove through San Francisco, which was like mind-blowing. It's all on a hill, all the architecture, the houses.
And when
like,
they say hills, like our van, we named her Velma, and I was going, come on, Velma, you can make it, because these roads are like nothing I've ever seen
insane.
before.
Like, I don't know how they build these houses. Like, it's just crazy.
Steeper than some of the mountains we've driven up, and everything is built on these hills. It's crazy.
We went to see the Full House, which, when you see it, you're like, oh, yeah, I guess that's it. But they kind of shoot it at different angles.
Because it's only the outshot. Like, of course, the show was filmed in a studio, so it's just the outside shot of the house, but still really cool. We also saw Jimi Hendrix's house.
Yeah, we went to Haight-Ashbury Street, which, if you don't know, that's pretty much where the Summer of Love started. Grateful Dead, Janis Joplin,
hippies,
Hendrix,
acid.
George Harrison, like everybody just, that's where it all started. It was cool. I thought it was going to be a little more old looking, but it was very tourist, and
it was a lot of really high-end thrift stores and kind of expensive restaurants, which we weren't really expecting, but it was still really, historic to go and stop in that area and walk through. And there's actually still a ton of hippies in that area.
Oh yeah, and there's a giant record store called Amoeba Records, which, like, I just went in by myself for 2 minutes. I had to leave because I was like, it's like a Walmart, but a record store. So
Josh could have spent days.
Yeah,
inside.
we definitely want to go back there, just us, because it was really hard to park the van and travel around. We went by where the Giants play, the San Francisco Giants baseball team. Baseball wasn't on yet, so we couldn't go to a game. But it's like right on the water and everything.
Josh likes to visit the stadium.
Super nice, super nice. But we definitely want to go back there. And then after that, we went to the coast to this place called Half Moon Bay, where we found this cliff where we just pulled off, had supper and a beer, and just watched the water. It was amazing.
Incredible.
It was amazing. It was like, literally, you don't want to fall down there because you ain't coming back. But
so
very awesome.
Beautiful and so pristine. The water was gorgeous. And actually, the next morning we drove down just a little ways to have breakfast somewhere, and we actually saw like a pair of dolphins hopping through the waves. It was like just out of a movie. It was so
amazing.
But we saw dolphins, which was really, really
so
cool. Really beautiful. So after San Francisco and camping on the beach or on the cliff in Half Moon Bay, we continued to head south, heading towards Los Angeles, and we went through Santa Cruz and Monterey, and they were very, very busy. We liked them. Like, Santa Cruz had a really cool, like, whole amusement park.
So many people skateboarding too. Everybody was skateboarding. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, a huge amusement park and a big beach area and vendors. We didn't stop because they wanted $50 to park an RV, and as much as we love doing touristy things, we're not big on those crowded areas, so we just drove through to get a bit of the experience and kept on keeping on. Went down through Monterey again, really beautiful along the water. There was all these huge sand dunes and beach areas, but very, very busy, so we just kept on keeping on, and we ended up going through Big Sur,
which I never even heard of until we went there. It was insane. It's insane.
We thought we'd seen big trees, but again, just massive redwood groves.
It's like it took us like 2 hours to drive through this national park that's right on the coast, that's on these like 200-foot cliffs that you're right on the edge, and there's rocks and beautiful views. Like, it's foggy at one point.
Yeah, we kind of stumbled upon it. Like, I mean, if we'd looked at the map, we would have known it was there. We tried to get a campsite and we couldn't at that point, so we had to just pass through. We did find another really beautiful cliff to stay on that night, but definitely somewhere we'll go back to because we kind of missed out on Big Sur, but very cool drive.
So from there, we went to a place called Morro Bay, which we'd never heard of, but holy cows, little town just on the ocean with this giant rock that's on the beach that is like just on the edge of the ocean, and amazing. This little campground that we went to, and it was very open, no privacy, but it was very cool campground, and it had this like boardwalk that we walked like 3 or 4 times.
Fantastic views.
Mountains all around, like right on the water, and
the cutest little town. Like one of those towns. As we travel, we're obviously not going to move to the States just because we were like Canadian, but we could have lived in this town. There was jobs. vegan restaurants, all sorts of food and coffee, and thrift stores.
I got a Grateful Dead tape there because we're in California, so kind of made sense.
And we
right?
went to this really cute little place called Foster's, which would kind of remind you of like a Dairy Queen, like an old school dairy and burger joint.
Been there since like the 50s, which was really cool.
And they even had veggie burgers, so we had a really amazing meal.
The other cool thing about Morro Bay was they had this like giant dog beach, which was awesome for him.
Off-leash dog beach. So it was actually fenced. There was a couple of holes where people had cut holes to get through from the parking lot, which kind of sucked, but he could run
this guy had
free.
A day.
Oh,
we went twice.
God.
The second time was so windy. We were there for like 10 minutes because I was like...
I had sand in my ears.
Just blowing sand's blowing in your mouth. But the first time was insane. Like, he was just running and playing with all the dogs and super cool.
Actually kind of going into the water a little because he's not a big fan of the water. I wish more places had dog beaches like that off leash because it was a great experience for Hendrix.
And then after that, we went to Pismo Beach, which was like, whew, that was only like half an hour away, but right on the beach, it looked like a tropical island.
Oh, yeah. A bit more touristy. Like, it was definitely like, rent this all-terrain vehicle and come eat here. Like, it was very touristy, but beautiful sandy beaches. You could drive right onto the beach. We didn't try. We're pretty heavy, and we were worried we were going to get stuck.
But it was good because it was kind of like hot, but
windy.
But still windy. So he went for like an hour because normally if it's too hot, he's done in like 10 minutes.
We actually went and sat on the beach for over an hour.
We tried to eat, but it was so windy and blowing sand in our mouth. I was like, I'm not gonna eat. We just had a beer and then.
And the dog was really happy to be there, except he didn't like the wind. So I actually had to like tie my shirt around his head. We'll put a photo in. He looked so cute and so funny, and he sat there for over an hour with this shirt tied on his head.
He looked like Frank Zappa on Shirk Your Booty, like the cover of that. It was so good. But
the campground was beautiful. It had a lot of new renovations, so they'd put a boardwalk around the pond, and there was an unserviced section and a service section, and it was great. And again, we had really good tacos.
Yeah, and we this one day I walked down like the street and I got these churros that were like this huge. Big. I said to Sam, I almost went back again like 3 times to get them, but it was super nice.
So delicious.
And even in Pismo Beach, we went to this cliff where this like a little kids park called Dinosaur Park. There was like no anything to do with dinosaurs there, but it's like this cliff right on the ocean. Just the views there.
And there was like botanical gardens there, and the views were unreal. All these like big caves and caveats that had been worn into the rocks.
It's insane.
So beautiful. So again, Pismo Beach, really nice area. And to top it off, there was an abundance of produce. So there was a huge strawberry field in the middle of town. We were able to get a really good deal on berries and also avocados. They were like 3 for $1. So at this point, Josh is eating guacamole and avocado, so that was really cool too. So yeah, Morro Bay, Pismo Beach, excellent camping and really great towns as well.
All right, guys, so we got another story from the road for you here. And after Big Sur, we had just stayed when we were in Big Sur, we stayed just on a cliff. We woke up and you couldn't really walk the dog there. So we just kept driving down the coast, and we kept trying to like go to these pull-offs, but they had these giant signs that said no dogs. And we were like, well, that's the point of getting out right now. But anyway, we come to this one at Simon's State Park, which is just like right on the ocean. And we get out, and you kind of just walking the dog, and I walk over to this like little boardwalk thing, and about 20 feet down is like hundreds and hundreds of these elephant seals. And they're all just laying together.
They're like 400 pounds.
It smelled so bad, but it was so cool, like how they were just hanging out. And honestly, there was 2 boardwalks, and on the other side, they were all hanging out there too. But
they kind of look like manatees, but they were actually called elephant seals. There was signage
they're all playing and laying next to each other, and it was very cool. We just randomly found this thing, and we have a video of it, so I'll put that up. But it was just
Hendrix wasn't sure what to make of them because they like flop across the beach,
and
they make
they're 20
these
feet
like
down.
farting noises.
Yeah, they're 20 feet down, so he can't even get to them, right? But
so cool. Some of the best wildlife we saw on the whole trip. And again, we stumbled upon it trying to find somewhere to walk the dog.
And that was a story
from the road. So we just stopped again as usual to walk the dog somewhere at Hearst St. Simon State Park, and we came across these guys. There has got to be 150 of them, all just hanging out on the beach, having a gay old time. It's a bit of an overcast day, but they are so funny. The way that they kind of inch across the sand, I almost feel like Mother Nature forgot to give them back legs. They go into the water and then they just come back out again, and they roll around in these big piles.